All right, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Kohaluyum Wakabadla, Yahweh, Wahedwa, Yahabashai, Bahasham, Racha Hakodash, Wamashana, Kabawadium, Lahashalayakim, Zaquanium, Shagarwa Rakab, Washalwam, Shabbat Shalom, Labachayim Shah, Yashar Allah, Anya, Achyaka, Yaal, Yaharatazah, Lamada Thumb. All right. What is just in the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue or the Lashon Kodash, the ancient Hebrew? All right. The pure language spoken of in Zephaniah 3 and 9, being given back to the children of Israel in the last days, is all praises and honor to Yahweh, which is the true name of the Heavenly Father, which means He is, or He to be, or He's present, He exists, and His only Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and His name means He's the deliverer. All right. Bahasham meaning in the name, Recha meaning spirit, Kodash meaning holy, and double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, and also peace or shalom to the elect of Israel. All right. And also I also said towards the end, I'm your brother Ya'al, and Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing, you learn. Okay, I'm not in Great Millstone or am I affiliated with Great Millstone. However, I believe by faith that stand with Elder Apostle Haran down, as well as the likewise Zaquani Wa'akim, elders and brethren, that teach the same word and doctrine and truth and sincerity across the four corners of the earth, are the prophets and are the true teachers of the Lord coming back in these latter days, man, through the reincarnation. Okay. And through the spirit, it's gonna be a real quick, break lesson. At the plantation, Howard Tazalo, willing you're edified, and your spirit's fed. Right through the spirit, I titled this: "The servants of the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, were appointed affliction." All right, we were supposed to be afflicted. We're supposed to suffer, man. Okay, and I'm gonna start off with this, where I got this precept from, man. I was just reading it. This is Book of First Thessalonians. I'm gonna start at verse 2. Actually, I'm gonna start at verse 1. Therefore, when we could no longer endure it, we thought it good to be left in Athens alone, and sent Timothy, our brother and minister of Yahweh, and our fellow laborer in the gospel of the anointed, to establish you and encourage you concerning your faith. In the same way, we make these lessons and we go live, and the Spirit has us talk about certain things. What I mean? Or Hakodash has us speak about certain things, you know what I'm saying? There's been many times where it's happened to me, so I know it's happened to other brothers before, where you're going through something and a brother literally makes a lesson concerning that exact thing that you're going through at the exact time that you're going through it. Or, you get recommended a lesson from years ago that also speaks about the exact thing that you're going through, man. So we were sent by Yahweh Shemi Shai as ministers, as servants, okay, which is what the word minister means servant of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, to establish, you Akima Akiwathi brothers and sisters that are of the faith and that believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, truth and sincerity, to establish you, what I mean, to exhort you, to encourage you, and try to help you get rooted and grounded in the faith of Yahweh Shai, man. Verse 3, that no one should be shaken by these afflictions. Yeah, man. What afflictions, man? Let's go. Matter of fact, to the word affliction. Strong's G 2347 is the word thalipsis, right? Strong's definition says anguish, burden, persecution, tribulation, trouble. Outline of biblical usage says oppressing together, oppression, affliction, tribulation, distress, straits, man. These this can be in the form of man bearing false witness against you and casting out your name as evil, slandering, just catching hell, just the Lord trying you, putting you in that fire as gold. Ecclesiasticus, the second chapter, speaks about that. You know what I mean? Yahweh Shai speaks about, blessed are you when man casts out your name for evil, for the Son of Man's sake, for his name's sake, for Yahushai, for his name's sake, and that reputation that comes with that name and doing things, in the way that Yahushai ordered us to do them, for they did the same to the prophets, that are before you, roughly paraphrasing, man. Jake coming against us and doing us all manner of evil for following our power, which they should be doing, man. But they're of the 2/3. They're of those that the Heavenly Father is going to destroy, man. Zechariah 13 and 8. And Lord willing, we're that remnant that the Lord is with, that He's going to have mercy upon, man. in these latter days, and and be with, man, and take care of, man. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh Tazah, Lord willing. Okay, there's many things, man. Many things that can be considered affliction, man. We're appointed this affliction, man. I'm gonna go to that word for appointed. It's the word kamahi or kaimahi. Strong's G 2749. Strong's definition says to be appointed, laid up, made, set. Outline of biblical usage. It says to be, must go downward. It says the metaphor to be by God's intent set, i.e., destined, appointed. Little, we are destined to go through these things. That the servants of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahshua, would go through these things, man. That Jake wouldn't believe us. That's why, the Heavenly Father told Ezra Ezra in Second Ezra chapter 15, fear not the incredulity of them. Matter of fact, let me see if I could get that. Let me see. Uh, Slakia, bear with me, y'all. Apocrypha books. Yeah, here we go. Second Esdras, chapter 9. It won't even let me go to chapter by chapter. I'm gonna have to do it one by one. Lord willing. Bear with me, y'all, as I get this. Actually, nah, because that's gonna take forever going to each and every. Yeah, Salakia. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just look it up. Second Esdras 9, or Salakia 15 and 2. Here we go. I don't know why they got in there. I mean the King James. Yeah, with this, the King James Bible Online getting taken down pretty much by hackers supposedly. So now they don't even have the Apocrypha anymore. You know, and that's an omen, a famine of the word, man, coming in, man. Because just is that easy for you know avenues to look at the scriptures being taken away, man. And I don't want to get it in the here we go. Second is just 15. Second is chapter 15, verse 3. Here we go in the King James. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee. These damn ads. Slacky, yo. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Yeah, man, for not the imaginations against thee. And the incredulity, which means unbelief of them that trouble thee. Imaginations, Jake imagines evil, and they try to actively perform their evil, man, against the service of the Lord, against the service of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. That's for part of that affliction, of that, trouble that we're destined to experience as followers of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in truth and sincerity to the best of our ability, man. All right, verse 4, 1 Thessalonians 3 and 4, and it says, for in fact, we told you before when we were with you that we would suffer tribulation. Right? So the same way, Yahushai told us, and the prophets and the apostles, to the elder apostles now, and the brothers who proclaim Yahweh Bashim Yahushai now, tell you that if you really truly desire to serve the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, you are going to experience tribulation and sorrow and temptation and tests and afflictions. So when these things come upon us, you know, think it not strange. That's another precept. I think it's in First Peter. Here you go. This is First Peter chapter 4 verse 12. And it says, beloved, do not think it strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you. Yeah, man, it's to test us, to prove us, to examine us. That's why we go through these things, man, to purify us. Okay, it's not just for no reason. Okay, I don't know why they have this in a New King James. There you go, King James. Yeah, which is try you as though some strange thing happening to you. Yeah, man. So we go through the same thing Yahushua goes through, which is what verse 14 says, man. Yeah, on a lesser level, not to the exact same extent, but if Yahushua received 100%, power of being born, false witness being born against, let's say we may receive, whatever measure that the Lord deems is fit for us to go through the same thing, being false, having false witness born against us, but in a lesser capacity. Still, false witness still being born against us, regardless, though. It's just an example. The Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, is putting us through this trial, man, a test. Okay, and you need to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to pass and to have faith. Okay, verse. Actually, let me see. Yeah, just as it happened, continuing on, and So when the Heavenly Father, through his men told us that we would go through these things, it happened just as he said it would, man. Okay. Uh, let me see. Chapter 4 says, a matter of fact, let me go to Isaiah, because there's benefits for going through these trials, man. And if you pass, Lord willing, you do. There's benefits, man. Because when the whole world, because we're getting tried now, while the whole world is rejoicing and nigging it up and having the time of their life, man. But when the hour of temptation comes and the MOTB, this and the phone just chimed in. Wow, the MOTB gets made mandatory. The RFID CHIP that they're trying to get you to put, in your hands, as well as the brain CHIP, you know, when these times come to try the earth, then these people have never been tried and tested. They have never been to practice per se. So when it's game time, these people aren't gonna be in shape. These people ain't gonna have that wisdom and knowledge. All right, that fear of the Lord. That'll be their stability, man. Their firmness, their steadfastness. The servants of the Lord, the elect, because only the elect is gonna get delivered, and the elect are gonna make it through Jacob's trouble, man. Ultimately, only the elect are going to have that preparation, that mental toughness, that hardness in their heart, right? And that pretty much that usability, like they're used to it, right? That they're comfortable with the uncomfortable. Only the elect are gonna have that because they're being tried now. All right, this is Isaiah 65 and 13. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, power, Adonai Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Yeah, man, we're gonna get rewarded now. Or not now, Salakia. But even though we're in those times now, we're gonna get rewarded then. Lord willing, we're at that number. Or we're getting tried and afflicted now and not receiving the rewards and consolation of the world now. So in that time where the whole world is destitute of faith and everyone's catching hell, then we're gonna get rewarded, man. And only with our eyes, we shall see, roughly paraphrasing, you know, uh uh the fate of the wicked pretty much. You know. I see if I could, if that's in the Old Testament. Yeah, Psalms 91 and 8. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Right? The verse before it says, 1,000 shall fall at thy side and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Verse 9, because thou hast made the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which is my refuge, even the most high thy habitation. Right? Let's go for the word for habitation. More than likely goes to dwelling. It's the Hebrew word, Strong's H4583, my one. Or my one, right? Goes into dwelling, refuge, a retreat. Yeah, man, because we made Yahweh Bashim Yahushua for, the most important thing in our lives, man. And we go to him for everything. And he's our refuge. He's our safe place. He's our strong tower that we run to. You know, we're going to be delivered from these things and kept under the wings of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Yahweh Tazah, once again, we're at that number, man. The elect are going to be, man. All right, but continuing on, Isaiah 65 and 13, about to close out because I got to go, man. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. And as time goes on more and more, we rejoicing more and more as these people are mourning more and more. They're getting more and more sad. More and more mirth is getting taken from them, man. More and more, man. And the water Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, or call Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai for doing so. Which is why the servants are going to get looked at as enemies of the state and T words, T to the wrist words, and treasonous. Because we're going to be seeing the downfall of this place in real time rapidly, and we're going to be rejoicing. And people are going to look at us like Babylonians, these modern day Egyptians are going to look at us like, yo, man, you guys have to have something to do with this. We're going to get, set up as we're the problem and not the wicked. In Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man starting with top elite banking families is the fucking plague to the earth, man. He is the reason for all of this shit. He's the reason you gotta fucking work your ass off every goddamn day to barely survive, man. Your women are wicked. Your children are getting fed bullshit, man, and literally eat bullshit, man. The food is fucked up. The air is fucked up. The water fucked up. Everything is fucked up, man, because of this goddamn devil, man. And the Heavenly Father set up his men to rebuke them and to shake the fist, as is written, man, to shake their hand against them to their face, man, and to tell them their destiny, man, their fate, which is servitude, which is the being at the bottom of society, man, which is the sword, man, which is destruction, which is calamity, man. And Jacob, who they've oppressed and who's done manifold evils to, man, they will be the one ruling over them, man. That's what the prophets are here to. That's the good news, man. That this devil don't got that much longer, man. And you children of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and Seminole Indians, as well as you Israelite foreigners, we are going to be the ones to rule this planet in righteousness, man. And the earth is going to rejoice, man. But you wicked ass niggas that are rejoicing now, man, just watch, man. Day by day, more and more shit's gonna keep getting taken from you, man. And time is gonna keep increasing. It's gonna keep going by quicker and quicker as more shit gets taken from you by the Lord, by Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And you gonna remember who told you, man. That's why the scriptures say that when these things come to pass, and lo, they will come, they shall know that a prophet hath been among them, man. Then they'll understand that a prophet, that those men on the corners that they were making fun of, that was talking about Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai and the Israelites, then they will understand, man, that they were really the prophets. They were really the prophets of old coming back. They're in a, they will realize that all the times they're reading in the Bible about the prophets, and they're like, man, we would never do that. We would listen to the prophet. They will realize that they did the same shit, man, and that they fulfilled their lot just as their fathers did, man, and fulfill what Yahweh Shai spoke, man. Fill ye up the measure to your fathers, roughly paraphrasing, man. Then they'll understand, man. And all praises, honor, and glory will be given to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because him is due that honor and that glory and that praise, man, and none other, man. Verse 14, we're going to close out with this. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. All right. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and to his only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, otherwise known as GMS, that rule well, that teach well, that taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect of nation Israel. Honors as well to you elders and brethren across the four corners of the earth that teach and preach this word and truth and sincerity in this likewise doctrine, man. Regardless of Jake here or forbear, man. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith. I'm your brother Yaal. Yahweh Tazah, you are edified. Shalom to the elect.